There was once a little girl who dreamed of being a paleontologist. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's someone that studies dinosaurs. She got good grades. She had lots of friends and a cat that loved her. But something was wrong. Her friends would let her stay over on the weekends because they knew she wasn't safe at home. Her mother was a heavy drinker, and her stepfather was incredibly strict. He was so strict that the punishments were often worse than the crimes. Her stepfather was so strict that this little girl began to show up at school with bruises hidden under makeup and underneath her clothes. He was so strict that no abuse seemed to satisfy him, and every night she would go to bed crying. When he began to take her clothes off, she knew that it was time to leave. That little girl packed her backpack and ran away to a boyfriend's house, and she had to keep running and running because nowhere was safe. She was running from people that wanted to buy her body, but she wasn't for sale. She was running from people that wanted to take advantage of her because she was so young and so innocent. She was running from the police, from gang members, from people that saw her as an object and people that treated her like a criminal. She was only 12 when she started her adult life on the streets. And that little girl was me. My name's Justine. I was homeless from ages 12 to 16. And I'm here to tell you it's not easy for these kids on the streets. I can tell you that from experience because I've lived the life. I've begged for money. I've done all of the things that you think of that kids do on the streets. It's really sad. These kids, it's not easy for them. They don't have a lot of opportunities. They have to navigate a series of traps that are set to prevent them from having a future. There's drugs, there's gangs, there's crime, there's prostitution, and those are the only options for you if you're a street kid. There's no other way out. You feel like the world has given up on you when you end up in that situation. I personally didn't see a way out for myself. When I was getting off the streets, I was admitted into storefront shelter, and I had lost my will to live at that point. I had already tried to commit suicide before I was taken in, and I didn't really see any point of planning for a future that I didn't think I was going to have. But the staff disagreed with me, and they believed in me, and they supported me every step of the way. The music and art program gave me passion, creativity, and the expressive arts therapist teacher, Nikita, told me, hey, you can make art for a living. It's not a ridiculous idea. And that really inspired me, and that really helped me heal and grow and be able to make money off of things that I was creating out of my heart and out of my passion. And then after winning a lawsuit against security guards that attacked me while I was homeless, I was able to make a small business. I make jewelry. And I work full-time for myself. So if you didn't notice, I actually have a table on the side stage. Thank you. But really, I was able to turn my life around because of these resources that Doors of Change provided. It wasn't just that I was able to start a small business, but really that I was able to get self-esteem that would get me to a point where I would want to start my own business. And also, I'd like to announce I gave a TED Talk last year. Thank you. And if you Google that, you can just Google it. It's on YouTube. You just search for my name, and it'll come up. It's a speech called Kindness from Strangers, and it's really dedicated to everyone in this room right now. So that's for you. That was for you guys, so if you have time to go watch that. And of course, as many of you heard, I just graduated UCSB last spring with a 3.8. So I studied environmental writing, so my degree is actually in English and the environment, and I realized that I could make the biggest impact to save the planet by having the power of attorney, so I'm happy to announce I just began the Ventura College of Law Juris Doctorate program, so thank you. I'll be attending the Ventura College of Law hybrid program. And I want to work at an environmental law firm. I want to speak for the trees. So of course I'm selling my jewelry over there to raise money for law school. So if anyone was curious, it costs me about $15,000 a year to attend my program. Most of that's going to be loans, so I'm doing what I can to manage that. And I really couldn't have done it without the support of people like you. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you. But that's why it's so important that we raise money for these kids, because this doesn't really stop with my story. It keeps going. There's more stories. There's future stories of kids that this program is going to help them and get them to where they need to go. And, you know, that's what they deserve. They deserve these opportunities to dream. They deserve to have a future like I did. They deserve a roof over their heads and food to eat. They deserve role models that can help them navigate life's challenges. And I feel like that's the biggest issue for a lot of these kids. They feel so alienated. So even if you can't donate money, just becoming a mentor for these kids and providing that kind of emotional support actually means a lot more than you realize. A lot of these kids feel like no one cares about them. And it's so important when people like you just show up, you know, just to show them that someone cares. So I love ending my speeches with a quote, and I use this one a lot just because it's so relevant, and I've used it in a speech before. It's by Dr. Seuss. And unless someone like you cares a whole lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Thank you.
Yeah, it is.